Well, I believe my plan is responsible and fair. It focuses the benefit on middle class and working families.
This week, 43 million Americans hit a jackpot, both figuratively and literally. I'm, of course, speaking of President Joe Biden's executive order to forgive an estimated $500 billion worth of student loan debt for those making under $125K. Borrowers benefiting from this relief will get up to $20,000 in obligation written completely off the books forever. I guess I shouldn't say completely off the books because we all know there are no free rides. To fund this write-off, the National Taxpayers Union estimates an additional cost of $2,500 for every American taxpayer. That's a pretty bitter pill for folks who chose not to go to college and entered a trade instead or started a small business, not to mention those who worked their way through university or those whose parents saved and sacrificed to cover the cost of a degree. Panel, still plenty of unknowns here, as in whether the president truly has the authority to do this without congressional approval, and whether all this debt relief will throw gasoline on the inflationary fire the Biden administration is supposed to be fighting. With all that said, Chow Win, I know you had student debt and you paid it off.
It took me about 10 years, but I don't look at my own life. I mean, look, I've had some privilege in my life. I've had an opportunity to have an education, an advanced degree, all those things. But look, for 43 million Americans, they're going to have an opportunity to finally climb the economic ladder. And when we're looking at these students, we're looking at things like the Pell Grants. These are kids who are most economically disadvantaged. I recently spoke at a charter high school at HISD, and 45 of those students were immigrants. They were working class. They were newly minted from high school. It took them a lot to either go to night school or get a degree. They should have an opportunity. And right, this is a government subsidy in effect, right? It's not going to benefit every single one of them, but it will fuel our economy. It will provide them an opportunity. And it's a one chance. And will it increase inflation? These are students who aren't paying as it currently is, and it's not changing inflation as we currently know it.
Gary Pollan, 90% of our viewers thus far on the Sunday survey oppose this this use of $500 billion. Do they have good reason?
Absolutely. Look, 90% of the student loan obligees out there are paying their loans when they're current. I had a student loan. I paid it off. People currently have student loans. They're paying it off. And what do we call them now in the new world of Joe Biden? Sucker. You're a sucker for paying your loan. It's just flat wrong. And by the way, he doesn't have authority to do it. It's unconstitutional. He can't appropriate $300 to $500 billion for a giveaway to certain people. And it's regressive because this is not going to the poor or the lower middle class. This is going to the middle class, upper middle class, and rich. $250,000 a year is the maximum income you can have to benefit for a couple. I mean, come on. This is crazy. This is just politics. It's pandering. Biden's playing to the base. He wants to turn out those people that are looking for a free lunch.
All right, Tamara Bell, all of the studies we look at tell us that despite the cost of a college degree, the lifetime of income more than pays it back. I don't know what your thought is here, but this is an awful lot of money.
I want to see all these people getting their PPP loans forgiven come up and say the same thing because they ain't saying nothing about that. I'll tell you that. And you talk about some big companies that got their loans forgiven. This is so pretentious and fake. The reason they got a problem with it is because so many low income people, usually people of color, are getting it. And it's not paying your loans off because if you get out of college and only owe $10,000, you did very well. Because most people, when they get out of college, they straddle with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And they don't say nothing about this. This isn't new. And student loan forgiveness is not new. If you teach in certain areas, your loan is forgiven. If you're a nurse in certain areas, your loan is forgiven. If you're a doctor in certain areas, that's been going on for decades. This ain't new news.
Okay, Marcus, 30 seconds. Leave time for Holly.
Yeah, I agree with Tamara. No subsidy works for every American, right? And to be outraged by this, yes, I get it. That is what Biden is doing. He's trying to get folks to the polls. I get it. But the idea that we want to, just pee on this, people being helped with some debt relief, I don't get it. No subsidies benefit all of America. And if you want to talk about what's unfair, why is it fair that a doctor gets his student loan forgiven, which was already in effect, and I, as an entrepreneur, don't, or somebody who's in another profession doesn't.
Holly, take it.
Okay, I'm glad Tamara brought up the cost of the education, because this program, if it goes through, it's not legal, it's not constitutional, but if it goes through, you are rewarding bad behavior on many different parts. Okay, so you have universities inflating their costs way above the rate of inflation for everything else. They're sitting on billions of dollars of endowments. They encourage students to get degrees that are meaningless in many cases. And also these student loan corporations have made tons of profit off of these students. Now, when you get a college degree, as Greg pointed out, you have a much higher income earning capacity. You should be able to pay off these debts like many of us did. And some of us structured our lives so that our kids would not have to be burdened with debt. We made sacrifices. This is ridiculous to ask truck drivers and plumbers and landscapers to pay for the college degrees of those who are going to earn a lot of money over the lifetime.